It's 10 o'clock Mountain Time, and Tom and Shane on the air. Shane's having a little problem getting getting in with us, but that's okay. We'll be chatting with him here shortly. Today, we want to talk about how to fire problem customers. How to fire problem customers. And if Shane were here, he would probably tell you that the problem customers, the epicenter of that is probably restaurants. The food is no good, it's cold, it's too dark, it's too loud, the service is lousy, whatever. But apparently, there's about 3% of the population, I believe, that simply are not happy unless they're unhappy. So maybe that's the way the world works. But at any rate, but anyway, we want to get rocking and rolling here. So the first question we have to answer, of course, is what exactly is a problem customer? What is exactly a problem customer? And I think we've all heard the customer is always right. Well, there are times when the customer is not always right, and we're not talking about a customer who might have a one-time complaint or a one-time service issue or something like that. But what we're talking about, for me, a problem customer does two things that disrupt your business. First, their demands disrupt the normal flow of business for you and your employees. And two, their demands usually produce a lower profit per job or purchased than their business is worth. And often they justify it by based on what they spend. And therein being the problem issue. And so what can I tell you? When someone's unhappy, we try our best to accommodate them. But there are certain customers, for whatever reason, that just it's really hard to satisfy that particular person. So that's where we find ourselves, and looking at customers in general. Most of them are fine, but you're always going to have that one person. Now, another question is, who decides when a customer falls into the problem customer category? Well, more than likely, that is probably going to be your employees. They're the person that deals with the customer probably more so than the owner. And also, in many cases, the customer feels that they can be rude or beat up on the employees more so than they can the owner. And that again becomes a situation where you don't want your employees abused by anyone, and they are going to normally be the first ones to come in and tell you that there's an issue with this customer. So that's kind of where it starts. And after that, we have to determine the problem, and then we have to try and solve that problem. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing we do is we talk to the customer and see what the issue is. Perhaps we may have gone above and beyond, and at one point, we determined that it was a misunderstanding or something like that. And Shane joins us. Thanks for being here, Shane.
Well, thank you. Trying to
Glad
adjust my facial lamp. I had to restart my computer. It's getting
Yeah.
like me.
Well, see, that's why you get here about 10 minutes early.
I did, but I had to.
Didn't work, huh? All right. Well, we're talking about problem customer, Shane, as you know, that's our topic for today. And in many cases, the problem customer, it may just be a problem of misunderstanding, that perhaps there's poor communication on what the customer expects and what we are prepared to deliver. And we may have gone above and beyond for them on some point, and now they feel that's our normal service. And we need to explain that we can't always do that. Right, Shane?
That's correct. And I guess the most important thing is this is different than a brick and mortar store or a customer you have online with a product you're selling. This is more really that you deal with in the trades, whether you're an electrician, a plumber, a tradesman of some kind, a home fixer upper that helps people that are in their older years and so forth. And, you may do several things and be called more often to do something for them. So,
Mhm.
handling this problem is different in both situations. And we thought that we would, go through this because it is something that is an important aspect of your business because an established clientele is what makes life a lot easier for you. You spend less money having to market, your business, and you have to, you can maintain and accelerate growth easier because you have a base that you can depend on for added expense if you do want to expand with advertising. So there's so many things that are important about discussing this problem. We had to make a show out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Well, earlier before you got online, I talked about the restaurant business, which you know a lot about, is probably the epicenter of customer complaints. Food's cold, food's bad, it's too dark, it's too loud, bad service. I mean, the list is endless for a restaurant.
It's very difficult because it's so personal. Food, when you eat, it's one of those personal things you do. You go to the bathroom, personal. You eat, and you sleep, that's personal. And so people take it in a very different way than they do if it's, an outlet needs to be replaced because you keep blowing the circuit, or a drain pipe that's plugged, or you don't have the earrings that I really was looking for and it's your fault. These are sort of separate things, but they're the same.
They are the same. Absolutely right. Well, yeah, once we've determined that we have a problem customer and there isn't a whole lot we can do about it, the next question we have to deal with is how do we fire a customer? How do we get rid of this person? And there's a couple ways that we want to talk about. One is called the parking meter method, and this method simply means as long as you feed the meter, you can park here. If you want a package delivered overnight, it usually costs more. It's the same with customer problems. If their demands require additional resources or create problems, then they should expect a surcharge of some kind. Wouldn't you say, Shane?
Agreed. And everybody has this idea that you can just be flippant about customers. But remember, one of the big aspects is in having and developing a clientele is being able to establish word of mouth recommendations. So having someone out there speaking bad of you can do a lot more harm than someone speaking good of you. It's a sad reality, but
Mhm.
that's the way it is. So networking is a big part of this, and that's why Tom brings this up in these examples, because in large corporate America, the parking meter method is the thing. Although in the case of even the mega trend now, like even um, Amazon, if you call up and complain, oh, someone stole it or it hasn't shown up, or they'll just send you another one. Or if you call up and say, oh, there's a broken piece, or I'm missing this piece, I want to return it, they'll just say, just throw it away, and they'll send you another one.
Yeah, they will.
And it's because their numbers are so significant that it's cheaper to just send another one right off the one that you just told them to throw away. And they get a write off, so they get a benefit from it. Basically, it's like insurance.
Sure. Yeah. The other way, of course, is you can write them a Dear John letter, a formal letter outlining that you're sorry that you can no longer provide the service or procedures that they require. And when the customer or when the current project is completed, you would prefer they obtain future services elsewhere. And it shouldn't be an angry letter. It should just be a letter stating the facts that your demands are beyond our capability, and go somewhere else.
Yeah, and that
The
is defer and misdirect.
Yeah,
You think there was a politician in there somewhere, but anyway, yeah, defer and misdirect works too. You can tell your staff that we don't take appointments beyond a month. so that you get your customers call and you say, "Oh, our month's booked already," and then they get towards the next month, you can tell them, "Well, we've already booked up the time," and that's a one way of just suggesting, we're getting so busy and we're getting bigger that we're getting bigger projects that aren't a day, they're a week or they're 4 days. So there are positive ways of doing it, and you can also refer them to someone else. That's I think one of the greatest things to do is you're getting so busy with bigger
Mhm.
projects. Here are a couple other plumbers or electricians, whatever it might be. You might call.
Yeah, I would certainly refer them to a competitor
Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure.
I wasn't going to say that, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah, yeah, always, yeah. Always refer them to your competitor
Yeah,
do that. That's the smart way to do it because, well, if you leave, they're out. They're out a source for
that's right.
whatever they need. So yeah, I think it's a good way. Yeah, that when my dad and mom ran our farm landscaping and floral business, we got all the deadbeats from the other places. We would send our deadbeats to somewhere else. We just tell them no more credit, no more this or that. So yeah. The other thing we need to mention is that we are live on StreamYard, and that is, of course, what we use to make our podcasts. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but YouTube is the only platform that pays you to make videos. Instagram doesn't, Facebook doesn't, Twitter doesn't, but Facebook will pay you to make videos. So you may want to check it out in the description below once I process this, the description, how to get there. They have a free version that you can certainly use, and that is certainly good. The other thing, if you're watching us on YouTube, absolutely subscribe, hit the little notification bell so you'll always be informed as to when we're going to be on again. We're on here every Tuesday and Thursday at this time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And we're also on Patreon. There's some great advantages to you as a business owner to support us and this channel. So we hope that you will take a look at that and decide if that's worth it to you. And we hope you'll take advantage of that. And of course, don't forget our website, tomandshane.com. Tomandshane.com. Head over there and check that out. So a lot to do here. So yeah, we fired our customer, Shane. So I guess the last word here. I guess the what we should say is that somewhere along the line, the customer may have gotten the wrong impression, or you gave them the wrong impression, or whatever. So you always try to resolve the situation diplomatically, if possible, and then if that course of action doesn't work, then see you later, I
That's
guess.
right. I mean, basically, it comes down to a customer that has this attitude of entitlement. Oh, we're a regular. You come here a lot and you do things for us a lot, and we should get a little. You should charge us less because we're a regular customer. Well, that's just not the case.
Yeah,
So the response to that is, well, I appreciate you as a customer, but what I'm charging you is a competitive price, and to charge you less it would not make it cost effective for me to do the work because I already have competition. So as we said, here's a list of other
yeah,
people to call. The other one is, aside from the person that feels they're entitled, is people that are in sales themselves and work for companies about discounts or paying less for something, and that too is another problem. And then finally is a customer that becomes a problem customer because they want to always pay you cash. So
yeah,
it's less. Well, that becomes a trap. So you don't want to get there. Quite often it could, they could say that they could suggest you charge them less, or they'll drop a dime on you, as they say.
yeah.
So those are the examples of the three problem customers, just to give you an idea of what the whole purpose of this conversation was about. But Tom has told you, that if it becomes something that there's no impasse, you can't resolve, you're better to move on. There are other good people out there because there's only two types: givers and takers.
Yep. Well, compromise is the goal, but it's not always possible. Work with your clients or your customers as long as you can. But when it reaches that breaking point, as Neil Sedaka said so many years ago, breaking up is hard to do, but, but sometimes you got to do it.
That's
So
right.
that's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's very good. Good use. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I thought that was a good analogy there. So, all right. Hey, we're on radio every Saturday, by the way. Business and political show there every Saturday, 8 to 11 Mountain Time. Click listen now at kmmsam.com, and we'll be happy to take your calls and texts over there. And also, of course, if we missed any of our past shows or any of our past videos or podcasts or whatever, you can, they're all at kmmsam.com. Just click on Tom and Shane's podcast, and you'll be taken there immediately. And also, don't forget, of course, our website, tomandshane.com. And we hope you will frequent that as often as possible. There's a lot of articles and tips and things over there that we don't always cover over here. So by all means, whoops, didn't mean to put that up twice, but that's okay, I guess. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. So, hey, we appreciate you tuning in, listening, and well, if you have to fire a customer, whew, well,
You're fired.
yeah, at least you know how to do it. All right. We'll see everybody Thursday with another video for small business.